Hello everybody, welcome to Databricks in 5, a YouTube channel dedicated to explaining a Databricks related feature, concept, or capability in 5 minutes or less. Today's video is going to be on a feature that I think is heavily underutilized and a lot of people don't actually know about, and that is SQL Alerts. SQL Alerts allows you to send notifications to a specified destination, whether it be email, webhooks, Slack, or Microsoft Teams, based off of a predefined condition or expectation that you set. This is great for getting alerts based off of data quality, if you're ingesting more than a number of rows per day, if your data falls outside of an expected window, or if you have nulls in your data, you can use SQL Alerts to get notified based off of any condition that you specify. For this demo, I'm going to be using a public dataset from the city of Seattle, real-time fire 911 calls. You can download this yourself. I have a notebook here where I basically get the data. I just need 2,000 rows. I don't need anything, crazy. I do some light data cleaning, choose which columns I want, and then create a data frame and save it to a table called Seattle_911. And we can see here the data. It basically has the address, the type, the date time, the latitude, and the longitude. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a SQL query to use this data. And specifically, I want to be able to find out how many incidents or how many calls are occurring every day. And if the number of calls per day is above a threshold, I want to get notified of that. Instead of making you watch me type out a SQL query, I'm just going to paste one that I already have. I'm going to run this here, and it should get the number of calls per day. We can see when I'm recording this on January 10th, we're currently at 77 calls. I'm also recording this in the morning. Now let's build a query. I want to get alerted if the number of calls for today is over 100. Now, could be a couple ways I could do this. I could build something manual, or I could actually use the SQL query with SQL Alerts to get notifications. So I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it Seattle_911. I'll hit save. And now what I'm going to do is go to the SQL Alerts tab here in the left menu. I don't have any alerts created, so I'm going to hit create a new alert. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Seattle_911. And I choose the query I want the SQL alert to use. So SQL alerts are alerts that are created off of a SQL query that you have. We also can see the trigger condition we have. This is what threshold or condition you're setting that the alert will act on or look for. So in this case, I want to be notified if the number of calls for a given day is greater than 100. So I'm going to say the value column will be the count. And the first row, since I'm ordering by the date descending, the first row will always be the most up-to-date date, or it'll always be the latest day. And I want to see if the first row, I could do the sum, I could do count, average, median, min, max, standard deviation, so you can see a lot of different capabilities. But I want to see if the first row is greater than, again, multiple different options here, if that is greater than 100, and if the query returns no rows, set the result to unknown. When the alert is triggered, send an alert each time the alert is evaluated, and I'm going to use the default template. I could create a custom one saying my alert has been triggered, but I'm going to use the default one for this video and hit create alert. Okay, so we can see here the state is unknown because this alert hasn't actually been run yet. But let me hit refresh, and we should see that it says okay. And why does it say that? It says okay because it's looking at the first row in the count column and seeing if it's greater than 100. Now we can see here that it's 77, so it's less than 100. So the alert hasn't raised an alarm or it hasn't been triggered. All right, so since the data set we have, the number is 77. Let's actually edit the alert we have and change the threshold to be 70. And I'm going to hit save changes. And now let me refresh this again. Well, since we lowered the threshold from 100 to 70, we can see that the alert now says triggered because the first row here, 77, is now greater than the threshold we specified. Now I'm manually refreshing this each time. I can also add a schedule if I want to. So I can hit add schedule here. I can say in this case for the demo, I want to run it every 3 minutes from 0 minutes past the hour. Time zone, I'm going to set it to be mountain time. I can choose which warehouse I want to use and the schedule name. And the destinations, I can add a custom destination. I'm just going to add my email address. and hit create. And now this should trigger every 3 minutes here and then be sent to this email address. Now we can actually let this run and then get alerted based off of this schedule that we set. Okay, so I got tired of waiting, so I just ran it manually. And what happened is since this alert got triggered, I actually got an email to my email that I specified. So we can see the name of the alert saying it's been triggered from Databricks. Your alert Seattle 911 has been transitioned to triggered. I can click on this to go to the alert, go to this underlying SQL query, debug and diagnose the issue or the error further. I highly recommend checking out this feature yourself. It's a very simple feature to use, but also very powerful for sending these custom notifications. And again, a lot of people don't actually know that this feature exists. So thanks again for watching, and please try this feature out yourself.